Pride Road has a strong focus on women and also parent and carer architects. What do you think practices, large and small, can do to provide for a better work-life balance and better mental health in our sector?
Yeah, so I used to be chair of Women in Architecture, and I kind of reorganized it. It used to be called Women Architects Group, by the way, before when I joined, which stands for WAG. So I changed the name to Women in Architecture, and I chaired it, and I made it much more of a focus group geared towards employment and equal opportunities. So we are, what we were doing is we are, we've been looking at this for a long time. So when I was chairing the group, it was, we had 8% women. Yeah. And right now we have 28% women, which means that in sort of about 20 years it's gone up by 1%, which isn't good enough. And during the second year of my chairmanship, we produced this report, which is called Why Women Leave Architecture, which you can download offline for free. But one of the things that pointed to the fact that such few women were joining architecture, or rather they were dropping out of architecture during studies, was because of this work-life balance. And women who had children, small children, they just couldn't manage it. I think one of the things is that, with Pride Road, what you've achieved looks like you've managed to achieve giving women work and sharing work, and as well as having work-life balance. I remember, Lisa, you said yesterday, was it yesterday, your son's birthday? And I was great. I just thought that's really good. You can say that and go off and do a family thing. And I watched the video as well of this other lady that's part of the scheme. And it seems that you do offer a very open and flexible scheme for women. So I think bigger and larger practices maybe need to kind of take that on. And now with COVID, we've realized we can work very flexibly. We don't need to be at the desk all the time.
Just coming back to sort of an issue that does tend to sort of challenge people when they want to set up on their own or get that work-life balance. Confidence is usually a limiting factor. So have you got any tips for sort of being more confident in the workplace?
I think with confidence is you have to put yourself out there. So when I became a member of the board at this NHS Foundation Trust, I'd never had experience in chairing a committee. I didn't have board experience. There were several things I didn't know. But, you just have to put yourself out there and then say, I'm going to find out all I can about this and then do it. I think a lot of women sort of don't do that. And I find that this is a difference between men and women. Men will apply for jobs when they haven't had any experience at all, as we have seen in the election of the US president. And the woman who had all that experience didn't win the election. So it is a very strange thing that men feel confident enough to do that. And I think we can also look at that in a positive way. I think that's what women need to do. To push themselves out and say, okay, I will do it. It's hard enough for women, it's really hard. So unless you're pushing yourself out there, saying like talking about ambitions, and stop being so modest, just go for it. Please tell us about this franchise that you've set up, and how hard was it, and how long did it take, and what support you've had from the RIBA.
What support have I had from the RIBA? Not very much. So I went on my own in 2010. I had the idea about the franchise in 2012. And then it took me 4 years to actually go through the process and realise that kind of franchising was the best solution, was the right solution, I think, for me. And then launched it in 2016. So when you sort of, in order to launch a franchise, you need to have an operations manual, a prospectus, a website, you know, branding, collateral, and a franchise agreement with the solicitor. It's like buying a house. So, you know, there's quite, so when people want to come and join us, there's a process of due diligence. We've got to see if, you know, they're a good fit for us, but also if we're a good fit for them. We work with them to develop a business plan, sort of look at cash flow forecasts, what they want to achieve and how we're going to do it. And that kind of joining process for a potential franchisee actually, you know, can take anything from 2 months to 2 years, depending on where they're up to. So sort of on the flip side, sort of I've had to create all of those kind of systems and support and team, and sort of learn a lot of things very quickly. It's quite niche franchising. So I've kind of, like, you know, sort of, I'm a member of EWIF, which is encouraging women into franchising, because again, you know, we start to see the other side of another industry. Just taking advice from lots of people, it's quite good. But so we've got a really sophisticated system of processing information, which just helps manage projects and sort of manage clients, and actually be, you know, it goes back to the heart of, we're then able to deliver our sort of our best service, which is architecture, because we're not, you know, all the kind of business stuff we've dealt with, we know what we're doing, we're on top of it, it's not guesswork. You know, so all the pain of that's gone, so we can just concentrate on, you know, on design and helping clients.
Absolutely, yeah.